is our adoption cattery. All of the cats in here are available for adoption. And what you see them in are what are called cat condos. They're a little different concept than what we typically see in animal shelters, the stainless steel cages. The cat condos actually are really beneficial to the cats. They provide a main room for the cats, which also have a shelving unit up there. We know the cats like to perch. They're big enough so that we can allow scratching posts in there and bedding. And they also have 2 additional rooms. One is for the cat's food and water, and one is for their litter box. That way it helps keep things a little bit cleaner. Additionally, because these are solid, they have venting, but they're solid. Fingers can't get through here, so that way people can't pet one cat and then reach their hand in and pet another cat, which actually might transmit disease or bacteria if one cat was sick or had a virus. And so having little things in there, cat toys, allowing volunteers to come in and socialize with the cats is really beneficial to keeping them temperamentally and behaviorally sound. Here is people who have adopted from us. We like to keep in touch with them. We like to hear how the animal's doing so that we can, one, will make everybody feel good, and two, if there are any behavior problems or challenges, we can help them with it. So we definitely like to hear them. All the little postcards go home with the owners, and then they send the photos back to us. So now we're in the adoption dog kennels. All of the dogs that you're going to see right now are available for adoption. One thing you may notice that's a little different from many other animal shelters is actually how quiet it is. We're doing an interview in an animal shelter and in a kennel. The dogs are very quiet because we do a lot to work with those. We have a lot of environmental enrichment programs that begin with giving the dogs Kong toys and different things to keep their minds busy, as well as actually volunteers who take these dogs out every single day, at least 3 times a day for walks and training. Clinic, which is open 2 days a week for our in-house animals only, right now is spaying and neutering, performing other duties for approximately 1 dozen animals every single day. So this is our critter room. Many people don't know it, but aside from dogs and cats, there's all kinds of other animals that end up in shelters. In fact, rabbits, who you see here behind me, are the 3rd most numerous animal in animal shelters in the United States. In addition to rabbits, we have guinea pigs, hamsters, and over there you'll even see a parakeet that someone could no longer keep and ended up here at our shelter. This is our agility area. It's part of where we train the dogs here at the shelter. And the person we have in here is Edith Nicoletti. She is one of our volunteer mentors. And Edith has Lacey with her today. You can see the dogs really enjoy this. It's, again, a good workout for them both mentally and physically. Not all of the animals that come to the Placer SPCA are dogs and cats, like we mentioned before. Every once in a while we get something a little bit more exotic. This little guy here is actually a potbelly pig. When he first came to the shelter, he was pretty malnourished, pretty underweight. He was actually found roaming as a stray here in Roseville.
My job here is basically to close us down. My job is to teach people how to be caring, respectful, and responsible towards all of their animals, in the hopes that someday we won't need places like animal shelters in order to care for all the homeless animals. One of the things that I'm doing here is today I'm setting up for our Humane Kids Camp, which is probably our most popular program that we do. It fills up very quickly every summer. Kids come in for 1 week. We play games, we have guest speakers, they learn about all kinds of animals, we do crafts, and by the end of the week we send them out ready to be advocates for animals in their community. We also have a Youth for Animals Club that meets throughout the school year. I do programs for scouts, brownies, juniors, cadets, and seniors. I go to schools and do presentations there, frequently bringing an animal with me who has been a former shelter animal and has their own story to tell. And it's all about trying to get to people and teach them about being the kind of pet owners that we want them to be in terms of keeping their pets for life, making the right choices for their family. And things like BBQ and Blues are the kinds of programs that support my programs, because truth be told, I don't bring in any money. My role is simply an expense to the organization. So our fundraisers and things like that are hugely important so that we can do things like this for the kids and for the community. That's how we make the money to enable me to have programs like this.
Okay. Hi, I'm Leilani Vieira. I'm the Chief Executive Officer with the Placer SPCA, and I wanted to share a little bit of information about our upcoming event, BBQ and Blues. It's actually in its 19th year. 19 years ago, we had a couple of volunteers, as this organization relies a lot on hundreds of volunteers, but a couple of volunteers 19 years ago who loved animals, but also loved blues music. And they thought it might be a great way to combine both to raise money, because we are a nonprofit organization, to help us continue the many programs and services we have to care for the animals that come to our center. So 19 years ago, this couple started BBQ and Blues, and I believe it was in a small pub somewhere in Placer County, a really small pub. And I don't think there was probably more than 30 or so people for the first year. But as many people now know, BBQ and Blues has become a tradition in Auburn, and it's actually hosted at the Gold Country Fairgrounds, where we now see thousands of people, typically the third Saturday in July. And again, 19 years later, it's become a phenomenal event. It's an event that not only is a fun day for folks who choose to join us, both Auburn residents and also people from throughout the region. We have people travel to Auburn to come to BBQ and Blues because it's become so popular, to see some of the wonderful, wonderful headlining blues acts that we have. Blues acts that we don't ordinarily see in this region. We have Coco Taylor coming out of Chicago, who is a Grammy award-winning and Blues Hall of Fame artist, probably holding the same amount of esteem and prestige as Etta James, which is just phenomenal, along with Coco Montoya and some local bands too. And what's really neat about this event is it not only brings together blues music, but it brings together other community organizations and folks within the community, also that everyone can have a great time while helping the animals. And that's really what it's all about. We really rely on BBQ and Blues as our main fundraising event. BBQ and Blues is expected to raise about 10% of our budget, and that's the money that we need to care for the close to 4,000 animals that arrive at our center every year. Many who, as you've heard, have special medical needs, who just require some comfort and some care until we're able to rehome them, and some who require longer-term stays. We also have phenomenal education programs for both children and adults, and we also want to help those folks who are in circumstances due to our economy where they just need a little additional assistance. These are the kinds of activities that BBQ and Blues will help us to fund throughout this upcoming year. It's so very, very important for the animals in Placer County and the people within the county too. It's our vision that every adoptable animal in Placer County will have a home, and BBQ and Blues is an essential fundraising component to help us make that happen. It's a fun-filled day that will impact and make a difference in thousands of animals' lives. We do hope that you'll join us for a wonderful, wonderful day of great blues music, lots of fantastic food. We'll have over 40 vendors selling their wares and entertaining you that day, and most of all, to help the animals who really need our help throughout Placer County. Thank you.